Good morning, everyone, and welcome to ICOF's quarterly peer learning call. This is Carrie McCann-Botel, President of the Iowa Council of Foundations. Thanks for joining us today to learn from your colleagues across the state about how they have managed successful professional advisor events and outreach efforts. For today's topic, we will hear from several colleagues sharing why they feel it is important for their community foundation to build relationships with professional advisors, and they will also share examples of events they've hosted and outreach they've conducted. We have four colleagues with us today. First, we'll hear from Jenna Manders, the Knowledge Management Director at the Community Foundation of Greater Dubuque, who will share with us the success they've had hosting several professional advisor events in their community, working with Cannon Financial, and hosting professional advisor events in partnership with affiliates in their region. Then we will hear from Jerry Burke, who serves on the governing body for the Foundation for the Future of Delaware County, and he'll share his perspective of how these PA events have helped their affiliates. Next, we'll hear from Tam Ellerding, Program Director for the Hardin County Community Endowment Foundation, an affiliate of the Community Foundation of Greater Des Moines. Tam will talk with us about an outreach strategy they employ to connect with local PAs through grant funding from an ICOF capacity building grant. And finally, Elizabeth Hackbarth, Director of Development with the Community Foundation of Northeast Iowa, will talk with us about their Farmland for Good professional advisor workshop that they hosted in May of this year. We will have each of our speakers share information in successive order, and then at the end, open the call up for participants to ask questions or add to the discussion. As a courtesy, if you are not speaking, if you could please mute your phone line while folks are sharing your information, and then at the end, be sure to unmute if you have a question to add or something to add to the discussion. If you have a question, if you could please also identify yourself and your community foundation, that would be helpful. And with that, I will go ahead and turn things over to Jenna to get us started. Jenna?
Good morning, everyone. I just wanted to start by saying thank you to ICOF for the opportunity to share on this call, and also for the help that they've had through capacity building grants, both in Dubuque and our affiliates, in helping us really kick off our work with our professional advisors. So since I've been with the Community Foundation for about 5 years now, our traditional model for PA seminars in Dubuque specifically has been a one-day live at more of a half-day session in the morning, and typically we've hosted with Johnny Hayes, and then also we did the full-day Salvation Army seminar, which is a webinar that we tap into based out of Minneapolis. This past year, as Carrie had mentioned, we are piloting something with Cannon Financial, and I know ICOF had shared a little bit about it at the end of last year. But they offer a monthly lunch and learn series, usually the third Tuesday of the month, from what would be in Central Time, noon to 1:30. And it's been a great session for us to really, you just log in. Everyone comes to the Community Foundation. We provide lunch at 11:30, and then at about 11:45, 11:50, one of our staff members gives a brief update about the Community Foundation. And since we're seeing a lot of the same people month after month coming to these sessions, we have decided, instead of doing a general overview of the Community Foundation each time, like we would typically for our full-day sessions, we have been doing just picking a topic, whether it be the Endow Iowa tax credit, IRA rollover, charitable gift annuities, something to really dive deep in. That way they're not hearing the same thing every time from the foundation staff. And that has been, the sessions have been an interesting mix for us. So we've received quite a few new PAs. So our half-day session and our full-day session, we're getting to the same group of people each year. They were the same topics. Cannon has provided us a number of new topics, especially around trust administration, that has opened the doors to a number of new professional advisors, including younger professional advisors, that we've felt beneficial. And one of the reasons the main reason we find PA such an important part of our business model is they're really helping us connect with their clients and hopefully recommending to help they use the community foundation, especially if they're not comfortable recommending a specific charity. And the K&N Financial makes reporting continuing education credits very easy because they take care of everything. One of the notes that we had here from Michelle for covering on the peer learning call was if we think the continuing education credits available help attract more professional advisors. And I think one thing interestingly that I found is that for some of the K&N sessions that we've been hosting, some professional advisors have been coming and taking no credits, or they don't have the credits that we don't offer the credits they need, but they're still coming to hear the content. But vice versa, I do think, especially for our live sessions, that you get more than just an hour, hour and a half of credit, that we are getting professional advisors that are coming solely or mostly for the credits. So I think those are hit or miss depending on the professional advisor. And then I know Jerry is on the call. We've been assisting our affiliates. We've helped with a couple of different seminars in our affiliates, and he is from one of our affiliates in Delaware County, and they've done a great job of recruiting professional advisors to come to their sessions in the affiliate region. So I think I'll let him talk more on that, and then if there's anything else for me to connect, I will. That's all I have.
Okay, thanks, Jenna. We've worked with Jenna in helping us put our things together. This is Jerry Burke with the Foundation for the Future of Delaware County. I've been on our board since the inception in 2005. To answer some of the questions that Carrie, I guess, put out, we did also use Connect grants for the two seminars. We did our first one in September of 2015, I think. And Gordon Fisher's been our speaker. He has a law firm in Iowa City and does a lot of seminars type of things. And that one we just simply presented the community foundations and the complex gifts for the PAs, you know, offering a variety of assets and tools, estate planning, and Iowa tax credit. That was a half-day seminar, which we think we found a little bit long for them. They prefer something a little bit shorter. But we had 20-some professionals there that day and worked pretty hard to get them there. I would say that the reason we're doing this is I think a lot of professionals really, especially in our county, are probably not used to endowment-type giving and talking to their customers about it. And so this is a good way for them to know that we're here to help them and also to understand what our foundation is doing. I also found it very important to make personal phone calls after or personal visits after the information went out, because I know I went to an accounting firm here in town, and I said, you know, I'd really like to have somebody come, and he says, you mean you'd like to have people there? And I said, yes, I would like to have some people there. And so he sent me 5 of his people from his office to the seminar, which and after talking to them, they found it very helpful. So we did the same thing again this fall. We're going to do one in September. Jenna is helping us put it together. We find that having the CEU credits for them is very important. This one's only going to run for about 2.5 hours, 7:30 to 9:30, because that's what they thought that they could do. They gave us a variety of things last time that they would like us to do, including tax reform, gift planning, CRAT and CRUT, which I don't exactly understand, estate planning, RA rollovers, gifts of grain, and gifts of farmland. So in the process, this year's seminar is going to talk about what is planned giving, the advantages and disadvantages, and meet client donors where they're at, and then we're going to talk a little bit about estate planning and, again, charitable deductions, estate planning under the new tax bill, and what the philanthropic solution is going to be with the raising of the $12,500 standard deduction to the $24,000. And I'm going to spend a little time in the IRA charitable rollovers. I think that's an area that people don't understand, and I think it's an area that we really need to let our people know that, you know, there are a lot of people out there that saved their IRA money and now find that they're paying tax on it and they may not need all of it, and so what can they do with that? Let me see. The benefits, yeah, again, I think the PAs just need to know that we're here to help them, and one way to do that is to invite them and at least give the mailing out to them. We do have our coordinator then follow up on the people who have come to these seminars and see if there's any other questions that we can answer for them and bring them into the fold of helping us create more endowments. I think that's probably all the advice that I have. I think you've got to make contact with them, and just the postcard isn't the only thing that's going to bring them in there. You've got to follow up with a phone call and see if they have any questions and if they aren't available to come. So I will leave it at that and leave it for any questions at the end. Thank you.
Great. Thanks so much, Jenna and Jerry. Really appreciate you sharing that. And Jerry also just couldn't agree more with the personal outreach and the phone calls to follow up on the communications that are going out. So thanks for making note of that. Really appreciate it. All right, we'll be back with any questions for Jenna and Jerry at the end, and we'll go ahead and turn things over to Tam.
Good morning. I have a little different approach with professional advisors and attorneys and maybe, even banker people. I work on their stomach. I put together a kind of a goodie bag for professional advisors. I gave it out through end of March to April, and I visited each H&R Block, and it was just a blue bag with our logo on it, and we just had a Dollar Tree open up across from us, and so I got Energy Blend. It's just a bunch of nuts and things, and I said, to keep you sharp and enjoy a healthy snack. And then Sunshine Blend, and I put on there to help you feel the sun during a dreary winter day. And then Tylenol to help your headache while crunching numbers. And Advil to help you sleep at night with no nightmares of tax returns. And then I went on and on with several other things. And then I had that little piece of paper in there and my business card. And so just little goodies because they were busy with taxes but I just thought this was a way to reach out to, maybe have a little thing on their desk that would remind them of the Community Foundation and what their clients can do with their charitable giving. So that's kind of the twist that I went on it this year. I think it's very important to have the professional advisor events and to go along with what everybody else is saying. This year in October, we are our Community Foundation is partnering with the Hanson Family Hospital Foundation and the Ellsworth College Foundation, and we're putting on a professional advisor event. And we are having Gordon Fisher come and speak. I've heard him speak before. He's hilarious. But these girls wanted a 3-hour event, and I'm just kind of going, I don't know, this is too long. But again, we're going to work on their stomachs. We're going to have a breakfast meeting in the southern half of the county from 8 to 11, and then we'll go to the northern half of the county and do noon to 3. And so they'll have breakfast in Eldora, and then we'll have lunch in Owl Falls. And the venue in Owl Falls is a fairly new one, and it's typically for wine in the evening, but it's a very unusual venue. So hopefully that will draw some people in. And with Gordon again, we work on what we can do. I'm trying to find my email here, because he is an attorney, and he can offer the CLEs, and the accountants they are self-reporting, and then there's 2 types of CEs for life insurance agents and the financial advisors. So I think it's important to have a learning opportunity as well as just a visual of the foundations that are involved. And I have to really be careful that he doesn't come across too much Community Foundation minded because of the other 2 entities. But we partner together very closely because our Community Foundation holds an endowment for the hospital and several scholarships for the college. So, I'm just hopeful that becoming visible with these professional advisors through our little goodie bag in the spring, that they'll remember that and follow up and, attend something in the fall for us. It's always difficult to find the right time for everyone to come. That's why we're trying to offer 2 times, in the day that they can come to, and we're reaching out to, the other edges of Hardin County, because not everybody deals with the Hardin County professional advisors. So we have a list of 160, and our hope is to have maybe 8 at each one. We're hopeful, but I'm going to follow Jerry too. We will do some phone calls and emails. We sent out the save the date postcard, and then we'll follow up with a letter with a little more of what Gordon's going to be talking about. But it's just a good time for all those people to get together and reach out, and we can follow up on some of the topics, and there may be some things that they want to hear about too, and I'm sure that Gordon can go off the cuff too. But I think we're in a very important time with our charitable donations right now, and with what they can take as their donation or off their tax returns. So I think it's really important that we do this education, and if we have to go through their stomach to get there, I'm going to do it. So whatever way we can get them to come, that's what we're going to do.
Great. Thanks, Tam. There's a community foundation in Indiana and Grant County that does some similar outreach with the goodies, as you've mentioned, for their donors. It's been really successful for them. So an interesting spin on that and using it directly with professional advisors. Thanks for sharing that. And now I'll go ahead and turn it over to our last speaker, Elizabeth.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Elizabeth. I work in Cedar Falls at the Community Foundation of Northeast Iowa. Thanks for having me, Carrie. I was just going to mention a recent professional advisor seminar, meeting that we held. But overall, the Community Foundation of Northeast Iowa, here in Black Hawk County at least, our goal is to have 1 to 2 live events in addition to a whole plan to engage our professional advisors with other e-news communications and other mailings throughout the year. But the live events, I think, really do help get us in front of the professional advisors, positioning the Community Foundation as an expert in charitable giving topics. Really, echoing what Jenna had said earlier, professional advisors really simply are our number one referral source. So when we can get in front of them and offer them education, maybe a CE, maybe a lunch, like Tam said, or a breakfast, that's good. So our event this year was rolling out our new farmland retention program at the Community Foundation. I know other community foundations in our state have that program, but it's new to us. So we focused on that topic. It was really well attended. We, of course, do a little blurb about the Community Foundation and have packets for them to take back to their office and keep at their desk. But the focus really is on case studies, giving them good education and talking about how the farmland program would work with one of their clients in the Community Foundation. Instead of just standing up there and having the Community Foundation staff provide all this information, we did a panel style. So I had an attorney and a CPA come, and they would engage with, tips, tricks, things to think about from their perspectives for the people in the room. We really do get a good mix of attorneys, a few CPAs, but financial advisors mostly that come. So CLE credits do get taken advantage of. I do apply for a CFP credit. It's $20 to offer that, though I have noticed we get financial advisors coming, but no CFPs that really take advantage of that credit over the last year or two. It's just something that I've noticed. But we do get well-attended events. This time we did a breakfast because around that tax season time, like Tam was saying, everyone is just super busy. So I thought if we get people there at the beginning of the day, maybe over lunch, it's hard to get away, and we'll have people register but then end up not showing up. Of course, we offer all of these free as an opportunity to engage with them. So we are going to be taking farmland retention program to our affiliate region coming up in September, since it did go over so well And since we already had the presentation kind of all planned out, Terry and Kay are going to be offering it up in Algona for our attorneys and financial advisors that wouldn't travel down to that live event. Case studies are awesome when you can really put into a story or actually take real live examples and really walk those attorneys and the financial advisors through how it worked for someone else. They can visualize that and really think about some of their clients that it could pertain to. So case studies, I think, are always super important to incorporate into that live event. A year ago, we had a financial advisor come up from Des Moines. I think also presenters from outside your region are good, so working with Gordon Fisher could be a great idea. Sometimes outside perspectives or presenters can be looked at as kind of experts for those advisors, someone coming into your area to present on a topic. So that seems to attract, or Joni Hayes, like Jenna said. So I'm just kind of looking over my list to see if there's anything else that I'm missing. We do send email invitations to our Blackhawk County, but out in the affiliate region, since there's not as many, we send email and postcards. I think email invitations, you can have better tracking. You can see who opens it, follow up with them with a phone call. For affiliate regions, since, again, there's not as many, I think a postcard usually goes direct to them in their smaller offices. So we do a little bit of both. And the last thing I was going to mention, it was just super timely, but I read a new article from Association of Fundraising Professionals yesterday about a new study that came out about advisors and clients' relationships. And the new study had some updated facts and figures, and it was saying that, advisor knowledge and use of structured giving vehicles is increasing, but there's still room for growth. Only a portion of advisors rate themselves as very familiar with charitable trusts. 53% of the respondents said that they were very familiar, and 42% said they were very familiar with donor-advised funds. So I think that's something that our community foundations are experts in and what we can really help our advisors gain more knowledge in, donor-advised funds for sure. So maybe if we can tailor some of our topics even on things that we think everyone may know about, but they're saying they don't, regarding donor-advised funds, how they can work with charitable trusts through the community foundation, naming beneficiaries, I think could be great topics. So I think that's all I have for now. Thank you.
Great. Thanks, Elizabeth. And I did get a copy of that article that you shared, so we'll be sure to get that out to this group. And I read an article recently about high net worth donors in particular and some room for growth and opportunity there for community foundations to build relationships in that space. So we will be sure to share those two resources out along with a link to some information about the Canon Financial series that Jenna spoke about. I did just want to add before we get into questions, a couple questions that we get in our office throughout the year several times are requests for speakers to bring in to talk with professional advisors. So you've already heard several here this morning, Gordon Fisher, Joni Hayes, the Canon Financial series is an option. I did want to note that we will be bringing the Filter Group in for our Connect Community Foundations Conference on September 18th. They would be another organization and partner to think about in hosting one of these sessions and also in building relationships with your nonprofit partners. And we will also feature a session with Gordon Fisher and Angela Fote, who is an attorney as well in Iowa, and they will be focusing their Connect sessions specifically on legal practices for community foundations, that they would both be potential speakers for you all to consider, as well as your processing this information. So I will go ahead now and open things up for questions that anyone might have. Please be sure to unmute your line and just identify yourself and your community foundation.
This is Randy Kuhlman in Fort Dodge. A question for the presenters. Are you inviting, obviously attorneys and CPAs, are you inviting other types of professionals, investment investment folks, life insurance folks, people like that?
This is Tam. We are. We're opening up to everybody that handles money. Banks.
Same thing. Yeah, the same thing here in Delaware County.
And this is Jenna. We do, and we also, when we talked a little bit about CEU credits, the credits we typically obtain are CLE for attorneys, CFP for financial planners, CTFA for trust advisors, and then Iowa insurance credits. And there are quite a few of insurance agents that will even travel from our region to obtain usually the longer day credits, because like the Salvation Army and the like the Canon sessions don't usually get insurance because of their state-by-state case, where the other credits are a little easier to obtain.
Yeah, and this is Elizabeth at the Community Foundation Northeast Iowa. We typically offer CLE and CFP, but I definitely see a lot of financial advisors in the room. I would say mostly financial advisors and attorneys come. I love the idea of opening it up to insurance reps too, because I think the information can definitely pertain to them, and they're usually really engaged with their clients.
Thank you.
This is Jenna, again from the Community Foundation of Greater Dubuque, and as the others were talking, there were a couple other things that I thought of. As Jerry had kind of mentioned, for evaluations, those are such an important part of our professional advisor process because that's how we get the topics that we use for future presentations. So as he had mentioned, when we were, after the last session, we were able to look at the topics that people were interested more in and really work with Gordon specifically on what topics we should offer during the limited time that we have with him. And I think it was Elizabeth who had mentioned the getting professionals from outside of the region. We were excited when Phil Purcell presented at Connect this past year. He had mentioned really doing the panel. And that's something that we had worked on with Delaware County when we had started our planning process. And we had found that some of the local, he had mentioned like getting an insurance agent, an accountant, and an attorney and doing more of a panel presentation to PAs. And we found that the local PAs weren't necessarily comfortable getting up in front of their peers too, and felt like they were experts. So bringing in someone from outside of the community, people often look to them as experts. And then I believe it was Tam and Harding County who had mentioned co-sponsoring events. And most of our events are co-sponsored. We partner with our AFP, local AFP for one event, and then we usually partner with one of our local community college for another event. So I just wanted to touch on each of those too.
Thanks, Jenna. Regarding referrals and just having that better relationship with advisors and then continuing to cultivate that relationship is that really trusting the Community Foundation as that expert. This is kind of off topic, but we do track our referrals from professional advisors just to then follow up because outside of luncheons or breakfasts or workshops, also one-on-one meetings can be just as important. So when you can start seeing those advisors that are really doing those high-level referrals for your foundation, it's good to even cultivate those relationships further.
I might add on that note, Edward Jones is a national sponsor for the Alzheimer's Association. And so those walks are coming up this fall. And my husband and I facilitate an Alzheimer's caregiver support group. So the Edward Jones advisors in Iowa Falls asked my husband and I to kind of be in on the planning of that event. And it can only be in big cities. They have lots of rules with this event. But we're going to be a part of another city's event. So, just those, other ways of being a partner with a professional advisor on other levels helps to create those relationships too.
Do we have any other questions this morning? Okay, very good. I did just also want to note that there are several staff members at community foundations that have put together presentations that are eligible to earn those CEUs. So if that is of interest as well, there's that model that could be replicated in other parts of this state. And another strategy that was not mentioned on the call today that I know several community foundations use is actually going to an office of a professional advisor and providing information about the community foundation in their office space, maybe even take them lunch when you do that. So just wanted to share that as another idea that we have that's emerged from our network. Thanks again to our speakers today, Jenna, Jerry, Tam, and Elizabeth, for sharing information about their outreach and events. As a reminder, there's a full listing of our topics and recordings for the Peer Learning Call series that you can access on the ICOF website by clicking on Community Foundations and then CF links. Our next Peer Learning Call will be November 14th, and will feature our annual conference ShareBack topic, where colleagues share information about what they have learned at regional or national conferences they've attended throughout the past year. So please look for more information about that in upcoming editions of the CF Snapshot e-newsletter. And finally, please be sure to register and attend the Connect Community Foundations Conference. This is a free offering for Iowa Community Foundations, hosted by the Iowa Council of Foundations in partnership with Iowa Economic Development Authority. This year's conference is Tuesday, September 18th at the Hilton Garden Inn in Johnston, and registration information is available on the ICOF website. We'll be sure to pull together a link from this call and several of the resources that were mentioned and get those out to you via email and posted to the ICOF members only, Community Foundation only section. So with that, I will wish you all a great rest of your day, and thanks for joining us. Take care.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Carrie. Thank you, Carrie. Bye.